Greetings to everyone, students. Hope you had a fantastic time while solving the paper. Now let us see towards the answer key for this set, Social Science Set A for your class 10 test series. Let us start with section A, that is multiple choice questions. Starting with the first MCQ, which type of governments were mainly driven in Europe after the defeat of Napoleon in 1815? So for this we have four options. Option A conservative, B liberal, C federal and D feudal. So the correct option will be option A, that is conservative government. Now let us move towards question number 2. Find the incorrect option. Please make sure this is incorrect option. First, Simon Commission was constituted under John Simon. Second, Awadh Kisan Sabha was headed by Mahatma Gandhi. Third, in Awadh, the peasant movement was developed under the leadership of Baba Ramchandra. Fourth, in 1921, Gandhiji had designed a tricolor Swaraj flag. So from these all statements, we come to a conclusion that option B, that is Awadh Kisan Sabha, was headed by Mahatma Gandhi, is an incorrect option. Next, let us see for question number 3. Buddhism emerged from eastern India and spread in several directions. Read the following reasons for its spread and choose the correct option. Option A, due to cultural exchange. Option B, due to Silk Route. Option C, due to trade and travelers. Option 4, due to European efforts. Options A, only 1, 2 and 4 are correct. B, only 2, 3 and 4 are correct. C, only 1, 3, 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Option D, only 1, 3 and 4 are correct. So the answer is option C, only 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Fourth MCQ, who among the following reinterpreted the message of Bible and formulated a view of God and created that creation that enraged the Roman Catholic Church? Was it Martin Luther? Was it Gutenberg? Was it Marco Polo or Menosle? So the option is option D, Menosle. Fifth MCQ. Which of the following is not a measure of soil conservation? Is it deforestation and tool cloning, C, strip cropping or D, terrace farming? So the answer is option A, deforestation. Sixth MCQ. Find the incorrect option regarding Joint Forest Management Program. A, Odisha passed the first resolution for Joint Forest Management. B, this program was initiated in the year 1988. C, it is a combined effort of local community with local committees. D, members are entitled to cash benefits from the forest. So the correct answer is option number D, that members are entitled to cash benefits from the forest. This is an incorrect option. Next, question number 7. In Bhakra Nangal project, water is being used for which purposes? Is it hydel power, irrigation, transportation, cleaning? So the correct answer is 2 and 1, that is 1 and 2, hydel power production and irrigation. MCQ number 8. Which of the following is not a characteristic of intensive subsistence farming? Option A, this is practiced in areas of high population. B, it is an example of labor intensive farming. C. High doses of biochemical inputs are required. D. It is an example of commercial farming. So this option D is not a characteristic of intensive subsistence farming. Question number 9. Choose the incorrect pair from the following. Please keep in mind the incorrect pair. Ferrous, nickel, precious, silver, non-metallic, tin, energy, coal. So the incorrect pair would be option number C, that is non-metallic tin. MCQ number 10. Which of the following are not a public sector industry? Option A, BHEL. Option B, TISCO. Option C, SAIL. Option D, Bajaj Auto Limited. So the answer is option number D, that is 4 and 2. That means TISCO and Bajaj Auto Limited. These are not public sector. Let us now look at a picture based question. Look at the image given alongside and answer the following questions. What does the symbolism of the portrait of Garibaldi as holding on to the base of the boot in the cartoon primarily represent? Is it represent Garibaldi's attempt to establish a new kingdom? B. Annexation of the northern Italian states. C. Unification of Italy and Garibaldi's contribution. D. The division of Italian territories between monarchs. So the answer is option number C, that is unification of Italy and Garibaldi's contribution. Now let us move towards the assertion and reasoning question. Question number 12. Assertion. The Chauri Chaura incident occurred at Chauri Chaura in Gorakhpur district of Uttar Pradesh in February 1922. Reason. Large number of people participated in the non-cooperation movement. As these both statements are correct, but there is no relation between statement A and B. That is why the answer will be option B. Question number 13. Which of the following is correct with respect to the ethnic composition of Belgium? Is it option A, 59% of people live in the Flemish region and speak the Dutch language? Option B, 30% of the people living in Wallonia region speak French. Option C, 10% of Belgians speak German. Option D, 1% of Belgians speak Russian. So the correct answer is option A, that is 59% of people living in the Flemish region and speak the Dutch language. Question number 14. Match column 1 and column 2 and choose the correct option. Column 1 provides you lists, that is union list, state list, concurrent list and residuary matters, and column 2 provides you with the subjects. So accordingly our correct answer will be option number A, that is union list will go with defense, state list will go with police, concurrent list will go with forest, and subsidiary matters will go with computer related matters. Option number A is your correct answer. Question number 15. Shift from one occupation to another usually when a new generation takes up occupations other than those practiced by their ancestors is it called as caste hierarchy, economic growth, occupational mobility, or urbanization? So the correct answer would be option number C, that is occupational mobility. Next, another assertion and reason type question. Assertion: those parties which are recognized as national parties can only contest elections for the union level. Reason: recognition of a political party as a national party is accorded by the Election Commission. So, here the reason seems to be correct, but the assertion is not correct. So, we'll go with option number D, which will be your correct answer. That is, assertion is false, but reason is true. Now, question number 17. Which one of the following is not true about a democratic government? Option A: democratic government is a legitimate government. Option B: democratic government is a responsive government. Option C: democratic government is the people's own government. Option D: it does not allow room to correct the mistakes. And this seems to be our answer, that is answer D. It does not allow room to correct the mistakes. Question number 18. Read the given data in the table and find out the average monthly income of country P. Country P are having 5 persons, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So to calculate, we need to have a arithmetic mean. So by calculating the arithmetic mean, we'll get 9500 plus 10,500, 9,800 and 10,000. If we sum up them, we'll get the answer to be option number B, that is 9950. Question number 19. Shazia's teacher asked her a question, to which she answered MGNREGA 2005, that is Manrega. What could have been the teacher's question? Would it be option number A, name the act that was devised to implement the right to work? Option B, name the act that was devised to implement the right to equality? Option C, name the act that was devised to implement the right to freedom? Option D, name the act that was devised to implement the right to education. So the answer would be option A. That means the question would have been, name the act that was devised to implement the right to work. That is nothing but Manrega 2005. Last question of this section, section A, that is MCQ based questions. Question number 20. Which of the following is an example of collateral? Land, livestock, both A and B, none of the above. So the answer to this question would be option number C, both A and B. Land and livestock both act as collateral. Now let us shift our attention towards section B, that is 2-mark questions, and we'll be having 4 questions in this section. First one, and question number 21. Name any 2 crops that our ancestors did not know until about 5 centuries ago. Answer would be potatoes, soya, groundnuts, maize, tomatoes, chilies, etc. were not known to our ancestors until about 5 centuries ago. Next question. Question number 22. What does the example of Bhairav Dakav sanctuary in Rajasthan illustrate? Answer. The example of Bhairav Dakav sanctuary in Rajasthan illustrates the concept of community level initiative. Inhabitants declared 1200 hectares of forest, implementing self-imposed rules that banned hunting and protected wildlife from external threats. This shows effective local conservation efforts. Next is question number 23. Differentiate between one party and two party system. Answer. The differences between one party and two party system are: one party system. It is defined as those countries where only one party is allowed to control and run the government. Whereas in two party system, it is defined as those countries where only two parties contest the elections. Next point. An example of one party system is China, where only Communist Party is allowed to rule. Here in two party system, it is majorly followed in United States of America and United Kingdom. Third point. This is an undemocratic system. Whereas in two party, this can be considered democratic. This can be considered. Now let us see the OR question. As the question number 23 was having an option, so let us see the OR question from question number 23. What is the role of the opposition party in a democracy? Answer. The opposition party plays a very important role in a democracy as: number 1, it acts as the guardian of civil liberties, ensuring that fundamental rights and freedom are protected. Number 2, opposition parties participate in parliament of legislative debates, contributing to the formulation and amendment of laws. Point number 3, it keeps a check on the working of the ruling party. Last point, it puts different views in the parliament and criticizes the government for its failures or wrong policies. Next question, question number 24. State any two goals of development other than income. Answer. Two goals of development other than income are: number 1, equal treatment; number 2, improvement in the standard of living; number 3, working atmosphere; number 4, opportunity to learn; number 5, job security. So we can explain any 2 points and get full 2 marks for this question. Let us move towards section C, which will consist of 5 3-marker questions. To start up with, we'll start with question number 25. Democratic government is a legitimate government. Explain. Answer. Legitimate government is a government under which law and action of the government are revealed to the people and government functions in a transparent manner. Following features of a democratic government makes it a legitimate government. First point. The laws are applicable to all the citizens, whether rich or poor. Next point, in a democracy, there is political equality, that is, every vote counts equally. Point number 3, people have the right to challenge the government policies and actions. If the people are not satisfied with the working of the government, they have the right to change it. Next, it is a legal form of government. Fifth point, it is people's own government. And last, it better from its alternatives, that is, it is better from dictatorship or any other form. So any 3 relevant points from these all will fetch you full 3 marks. Next question, question number 26. Why do most of the rural households still remain dependent on the informal sources of credit? Explain. Answer. Poor households till today rely mainly on informal sources of credit like money lenders because of the following reasons. Option A, lack of banking facilities. Next point, even if banks are established in some rural areas, it is very difficult to get credit from them due to a lot of paperwork involved, which makes taking credit to the bank from the bank very cumbersome, that means difficult. Point number 3, informal creditors like money lenders happen to know the borrowers personally, so they provide them the loan without a collateral. Question number 27. State any 3 characteristics of commercial farming. Answer. Commercial farming has the following characteristics. Point number 1. Farmers use higher doses of modern inputs, example, high yield variety of seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides. Point number 2. Farmers obtain higher productivity from land due to high doses of inputs. Point number 3. The degree of commercialization of agriculture varies from one region to another region. For example, rice is a commercial crop in Haryana and Punjab, but in Odisha it is a subsistence crop. Next point, it is majorly done for profit making. From these 4 points, any 3 would give you full marks. Question number 28. Explain any 3 effects of non-cooperation movement on the Indian economy, that means economic impacts of non-cooperation movement. Answer. The effects of non-cooperation movement on the economic front were: point number 1, foreign goods were boycotted, liquor shops picketed, and foreign clothes were burnt hugely. Point number 2, the import of foreign clothes halved between 1921 and 1922, its value dropping from 102 crore to 57 crore rupees. Point number 3, in many areas, traders and merchants refuse to trade in foreign goods, and sometimes even they refuse to finance foreign trade. Point number 4, as the boycott movement spread, people used only Indian clothes and began to discard foreign clothes. As a result, Production of Indian textile mills and handloom went up largely. For example, khadi. Now, question 28 was having an OR question also. So, let us see what is OR question for question number 28. Mention 3 reasons for which the rich peasant communities took active participation in the civil disobedience movement 1930. Answer: 3 reasons for which the rich peasants communities took active participation in the civil disobedience movement are: point number A, being producers of commercial crops, they were very hard hit by the trade depression and falling of agricultural prices. Point number 2, as their cash income disappeared, they found it impossible to pay the government's revenue demands. Point number 3, the government refused to reduce the revenue demand. This led to widespread resentment among the rich peasants, and they enthusiastically supported the movement. So these were the reasons why rich peasants joined the CDM. Question number 29. Why is conservation of mineral resources essential? Explain any 3 methods to conserve them. Answer: conservation of mineral resources are essential due to the following reasons. First, minerals are required in many industries, so it is important to use them carefully as it is needed everywhere. Point number 2, minerals are already in limited quantities and they are non-renewable resources. Their reserves are fast depleting. Point number 3, lot of economic developmental plans have been possible due to the presence of certain minerals. So to continue those developmental plans and projects, judicious use of minerals is needed. Now, let us look at the methods to conserve the minerals. First, better and improved technology should be used to reduce wastage of minerals during extraction. Point number 2, minerals and metals made out of those minerals should be recycled wherever possible. Point number 3, scrap metals and substitutes of metal should be used wherever possible. Now, let us start with section number D, 5 marker questions. So, we'll be having 4 questions in this section, and each question will be having a OR question. Firstly, question number 30. With reference to Scotland and Ireland, explain how British nationalism grew at the cost of other cultures. That means we have been asked about the Britain's unification. Let us start with the answer. Through the Act of Union 1707, England was able to impose its influence on Scotland. Next point, the growth of British identity in Parliament suppressed the distinctive culture of Scotland. Third point, the Catholic clans that inhabited the Scottish Highland suffered repression. Fourth point, they were forcibly driven out of their homeland. Fifth point, Ireland was also divided between Catholics and Protestants. Sixth point, Ireland was forcibly incorporated in the United Kingdom. Now let us look at the OR question. Question number 30 OR. How did the Balkan issue become the reason for the First World War? Answer. The Balkan region during 1871 comprised modern day states like Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia Herzegovina, Slovenia, Serbia, and Montenegro. Its inhabitants were known as Slavs. First point. This region had ethnic and geographical diversities and was under the Ottoman Empire for a long period. As the ideas of romantic nationalism spread in these regions, it resulted in breaking up of Ottoman Empire, which made the situation even more serious. Next point. The Ottoman Empire could not do much to integrate these regions. As a result, most of the European subject nationalities broke away from the Ottoman Empire's control and declared their independence. Point number 3. The Balkan people based their claim to be independent on the basis of nationality. They referred the examples from history as a proof that they were once independent and were subjugated by foreign powers. Therefore, they thought of their struggles as attempt to win back their long lost independence. Point number 4. Because of this development, various other Slavic nationalities also struggled to define their identity and independence, which made the Balkan a region of severe conflicts. At the same time, they were jealous of each other and wanted to gain more territory at the expense of others. Last point. European powers like Russia, Germany, England, Austro-Hungary too fought with each other to control more colonies and establish their naval and military might. They were also keen to grab more of the Balkan region for expanding this trade. This made the situation more serious, which ended up with the waging of First World War. Question number 31 and second question of our section D. Mention different aspects of life in which women are discriminated or disadvantaged in India. Answer. Women in our country are discriminated in the following aspects. Point number 1. Literacy rate. The literacy rate among women is only 54% as compared to men with 76% among them. Similarly, a few number of girl students go for higher studies because parents prefer to spend their resources for their boys' education than spending equally on their daughters. Point number 2. Unpaid work. The proportion of women among the highly paid and valued jobs is still very small. Though on an average, Indian women work 1 hour more than men every day, most of them are not paid equally and therefore their work is often not valued. Next point is sex ratio. In many parts of India, parents prefer to have sons and find ways to have the girl child aborted before she is born. This has led to a decline in the child sex ratio. the number of girl children per 1,000 boys in the country. Point number 4, domestic violence. There are reports of various kind of harassments, exploitation and violence against women. Both urban as well as rural areas have become unsafe for women. They are not safe even within their own homes from beating and other forms of domestic violence. Now we have a OR question for question number 31. That question says, state different forms of communal politics with one example of each. Answer: communalism can take several forms in politics, like point number 1. The most common expression of communalism is of communal superiority in our everyday beliefs. For example, militant religious groups. Point number 2. Sometimes communalism takes its worst forms in riots. India and Pakistan suffered some of the worst communal riots at the time of partition. Point number 3. A communal mind often leads to a quest for political dominance of one's own religious community. For example, separatists and political parties in Jammu and Kashmir. Point number 4. Political mobilization based on religion is another form of communalism. This involves the use of sacred symbols, religious leaders, emotional appeals to bring the followers of one religion together in political areas. For example, in India, politicians are trying to influence voters, exploiting their religious sentiments from the two largest religious communities in the country. It is very evident. Question number 32. How can more employment opportunities be created in the rural areas? Answer: the following steps can be taken to create more employment in the rural areas. Point number 1. Loans should be provided to small farmers by the government or bank to have more irrigation facilities like wells, tube wells, in order to enable them to grow second crop. Next point, new dams and canals should be constructed. This will lead to more employment in the agricultural sector. Third point, transportation and storage facilities must be improved to provide productive employment not only to the farmers but also to others in service like transport and trade. Point number 4. Banks should provide agricultural credit to the farmers for farming to improve. Point number 5. Industries such as cold storage, honey collection centers, and processing of vegetables should be set up in rural or semi-rural areas. Such industries will get raw materials from the rural areas and will create more employment opportunities for the rural people. Next point, more schools should be opened in rural areas. This will provide jobs to about 20 lakh people in the education sector. Point number 7. Health services should be improved by opening dispensaries and hospitals. This will create jobs for doctors, nurses, and other staff. Last point, tourism, regional craft industry, and information technology should be encouraged by the government to create more employment opportunities. So, any 5 points from the aforementioned will give you 5 full marks. Now let us see for the question number 32. Explain how public sector contributes to the economic development of a nation. Answer: public sector contributes to economic development of a nation in the following ways. First, it promotes rapid economic development through creation and expansion of infrastructure. Point number 2, it creates employment opportunities. Point number 3, it generates financial resources for development. Point number 4, it is ensuring equality of income, wealth, and thus a balanced regional development. Point number 5, it encourages development of small, medium, and cottage industries. Point number 6, it ensures easy availability of goods at moderate rates. Last point, it contributes to community development, that is, to the Human Development Index HDI via health and educational services. Question number 33. Discuss the steps to be taken to minimize environmental degradation by the industry. So, what should be the steps taken by the industry to minimize the environmental degradation? Answer: the steps to be taken to minimize environmental degradation by industry are as follows. Number 1, minimize the use of water for processing by reusing or recycling it in successive stages. Point number 2, harvesting rainwater to meet water requirements. Point number 3, treating effluents before releasing them in water bodies. This can be done by primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. The primary treatment includes screening, grinding, flocculation, and sedimentation. Secondary treatment includes some biological processes such as planting trees, rainwater harvesting, etc. Tertiary treatments includes chemical, physical, and biological processes like recycling of wastewater in sewage treatment plants, which is also called as STP. Fourth point, overdrawing of groundwater reserves by industries needs to be regulated legally. Fifth point, generators and other machinery should be fitted with silencers and other noise absorbing materials to reduce their sound. Redesigning of machinery to increase their efficiency in using the energy. Next point, particulate matter in the air can be reduced by fitting smokestacks to factories with electrostatic precipitators, fabric filters, scrubbers, and inertial separators. Next, use of oil or gas instead of coal to reduce the smoke emission from factories. Last point, promote sustainable development by integrating economic development goals with environmental construction. So, from these aforementioned or above stated points, any 5 proper points are needed. Next question number 33 is OR question. What is the manufacturing sector? Why is it necessary? Why is it considered the backbone of development? Interpret the reason. Answer: manufacturing sector refers to the secondary sector of the economy which deals with production of goods in large quantities with the help of machines, where raw materials are transformed into more valuable products. Manufacturing is considered as the backbone of economic development because, point number A, manufacturing has contributed to modernization of agriculture and reduce the dependency on agriculture by providing jobs in secondary and tertiary sector. Point number B, it has helped in reducing the poverty and unemployment and aimed at reducing the regional disparities by setting up of industries in rural, backward and tribal areas. Point number C, export of industrial goods contributed to valuable foreign exchange earnings. Point number D, it has added value to raw materials by converting them into finished goods. Point number E, the prosperity of a nation depends upon the development and diversification of manufacturing. Thus, it has not only made India self-sufficient but more competitive in terms of international market. Point number F, it brings down regional disparities by establishing industries in tribal and backward areas. Point number G, industry sector contributes substantially to the GDP of the nation. So, the definition of manufacturing sector and any 4 relevant points from these will fetch you 5 full marks. Now let us move towards section E. This will be your case based questions. Here we will be having 3 questions, 4 mark each. First, question number 34. Read the source given below and answer the question that follows. First source. In ancient India, along with the sophisticated hydraulic structures, there existed an extraordinary tradition of water harvesting system. People have an in-depth knowledge of regional regime, rainfall regimes, and soil types and developed wide-ranging techniques to harvest groundwater, rainwater, river water and flood water in keeping with the local ecological conditions and their water needs. In hilly and mountainous regions, people built diversion channels like the Kuls and Guls of Western Himalayas for agriculture. Rooftop rainwater harvesting was very commonly practiced to store drinking water, particularly in Rajasthan. Now let us look at the questions based on this source. Question number 1. Mention any 2 methods of traditional water harvesting used in India. So the answer would be 2 methods of rainwater harvesting used in India are Guls and Kuls, which are used in hilly and mountainous regions to divert the water, and they are mainly used for agriculture in the Western Himalayas. Number B is Khadins and Johards in arid and semi-arid regions into rain-fed storage structures. This allowed the rainwater to stand and moisten the soil. Next question. How do people of Rajasthan utilize rainwater? Answer. The people of semi-arid regions of Rajasthan have traditionally constructed the tanks for storing drinking water. They are big and a part of the well-developed rooftop rainwater harvesting system. The tanks are constructed inside the main house or the courtyard and are connected to the sloping roof of the houses through pipe. The rain falling on the rooftop would travel down the pipe and is stored in the tanks. Question number 3. Explain any two benefits of rainwater harvesting. Answer. Following are the benefits of rainwater harvesting. 1. It improves the access to drinking and irrigation water. 2. It increases groundwater recharge and reduce storm water discharge. The storm water discharge means the rain water which flows away. Which flows away. Now, next source. Question number 35. Read the source given below and answer the questions that follows. Two different set of reasons can be given in favor of power sharing. Let us call the first set of reasons prudential and the second moral. While prudential reasons stress that power sharing will bring out better outcomes, moral reasons emphasize the very act of power sharing as valuable. Now let us look at the questions based on this source. Question number 1. Why power sharing is essential for democracy? Power sharing helps to reduce the possibility of conflicts between social groups. Question number 2. What is the difference between prudential and moral reasons for power sharing? So the answer is prudential reason. Power sharing in democracy reduces the possibility of conflicts between different social groups. This is a prudential reason. Now, what is a moral reason? In a democracy, citizens have the right to be consulted on how they are to be governed. Question number 3. Differentiate between community government in Belgium and majoritarian government in Sri Lanka. Answer. In Belgium, all the benefits of economic development and education were given to Dutch-speaking community as well as French-speaking community. While in Sri Lanka, the government adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy on Tamils. Let us take a look at the last case based question. That is question number 36. New forms of popular literature appeared in print, targeting new audiences. Booksellers employed peddlers who roamed around villages carrying little books for sale. There were almanacs or ritual calendars, along with ballads and folk tales. But other forms of reading matter, largely for entertainment, began to reach ordinary readers as well. In England, penny chapbooks were carried by petty peddlers known as chapmen and sold for a penny, so that even the poor could buy them. Let us now move towards the questions based on this source. Question number 1. What is an almanac? Answer. Almanac. It was an annual publication giving astronomical data, information about the movements of the sun and moon, timings of full tide and eclipses, and much else that was of importance in everyday life of people. Second question. What is a chapbook? Answer. Chapbook is a pocket-sized book that are sold by traveling peddlers called chapmen. So the chapmen used to sell the chapbooks. Question number 3. Give any two examples of new forms of popular literature. Answer. Almanacs, ballads, folk tales, chapbooks, Bibliothèque Bleue. This was in France. etc. were the examples of new forms of popular literature. Let us move towards section number F, which will consist of your map based questions. Here you will be having 2 questions based on history, and from these 4 you need to attempt any 3 of geography. Now let us see what are these places. Question 37a. 2 places A and B have been marked on the given outline map of India. Identify them and write their correct names in your answer sheet. A. Place where the cotton mill workers satyagraha was organized. B. The place associated with Indian National Congress's session held on December 1920. So let us look at the history's map. This is location number A and this is location number B. So it says location number A was Ahmedabad. And option number B, that is second location, was Nagpur. That is INC session of 1920. Now we have 37B and we have 4 locations to be marked. Any 3 can be marked from these 4. The first is Nagarjuna Sagar Dam. Next is Hyderabad Software Technology Park. Third is Meenambakkam International Airport, and fourth is Norora Nuclear Power Plant. So let us look at these 4 locations then. So here is Nagarjuna Sagar Dam. Then we have Hyderabad, that is Hyderabad Software Technology Park. Then we have Meenambakkam Airport here in Chennai. And lastly we have Norora Nuclear Power Plant. This is in Uttar Pradesh. So this was all about your test series paper 1's answers. Hope you have done a great job. Thank you everyone.